Is Nick Cannon anti-Semitic? We have my main figure on the trigger calling in tonight, Eli the Dawn. Just waiting for him to call in. Other things that we're gonna be talking about. Ghislaine Maxwell's trial set to July 2021. Another topic we're gonna be talking about is, do you talk about money with your friends? Oh yeah, we going there today. We're going there today. Just waiting for Eli the Dawn to call in. Yep, keep on. Yeah, smash some hearts. Up, is that my dog on the trigger?
Hello?
Eli, is that you? You gotta talk a little loud. I can't hear you.
Yeah, that's me. Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you now. Eli, what's going on today, good brother?
What's good with you?
Man, the world is on fire. Nick Cannon's in trouble today.
Yeah. Nah,
Are you
here.
are you up to speed or what? Eli the Dawn?
Why he's under fire?
Why he's under fire? Did you get a chance to see the interview he had with Professor Griff? And for Facebook viewers that don't know who Professor Griff is, Professor Griff was actually a member of Public Enemy, but he was once removed from Public Enemy based off of I guess prejudice or racist comments or songs he was making while with the group. So the group decided to go their separate ways with Professor Griff.
You said which group?
Public Enemy with Chuck D and Flavor Flav. He was with Public Enemy in the beginning stages, and then they figured out what type of time Professor Griff was on, so they was like, nah, we gotta separate with this dude, man, because the way he going, we probably not gonna make money in this business,
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So Nick Cannon,
Too hard.
yeah, he was going too hard, and so Nick Cannon had his vodcast a couple days ago with Professor Griff, and he before we get into that, I want to let everybody in Facebook know that we do have freedom of speech.
Yes, we do.
I want everybody to understand that we do have freedom of speech. Now, I also want everybody to know that does not give us immunity from people reacting to our freedom of speech.
Right.
I need everybody in Facebook Live, everybody in YouTube to understand, just because we have the freedom to talk or say as we please does not mean we have immunity from reactions that we get or from responses we get.
Especially if we work, and especially if that goes for like corporations as well.
Absolutely. Just know we have the right to say whatever we want, but just realize the energy that you're inviting and embracing. Before we get started, I want to thank everybody for joining the Cleanup Cast. Our motto is this is a place where objectively speaking is wanted, and we talk. We use more logic over emotion. I want to thank all of the subscribers that have been subscribing to the YouTube channel. I want to thank everybody that has been sending donations to the channel, whether it be 50 cents, whether it be $1 million. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart, because that just let me know that you guys are okay with what I talk about. You guys actually want to hear me talk. So thank everybody. Yeah, Eli, man, what's going on, Eli? Come on, man, let's go,
I'm
man.
good. Nah, I was waiting to to finish the spiel, but nah, I definitely saw the clip.
Yes, yes. So what's your thoughts on it, Eli? Go ahead, man. I'm gonna let you lead it off right now, man. Before I get my
Um,
take.
I don't think he was. I think certain people get fired because they speak the truth, and I'm not saying he wasn't. Uh, he should have been fired for what he said. Um, it was the truth, and or the truth that he knows. Um, there's a lot of people that believe in that. There's a lot of people that believe in other things. As far as the Jews go, and I would just say like that. It's sad that he lost his job. But I really hope that he sees it through. You know what I mean? And I'm sure he got a lot more money and a lot more opportunities. I also think there was a little theory that I came up with, like because he's doing the Dr. Shelby um,
Mmm.
documentary. This is kind of like some type of way to flip it, like
Mmm.
right? So I kind of thought of that, and I was just like, yeah, it kind of makes sense after you say something like that, and then knowing who's the corporations involved and who runs those corporations, it was very um, problematic for them to continue to have him being a face, you know what I mean, like on their shows. So, it's sad. I'm sorry.
I hear you. You know, Eli. I sent something to you. I don't know if you was able to look up the definition of anti-Semitic, but when I pulled it up on Google today, the definition I got was to be prejudiced against the Jewish community. Now, Eli, let me ask you a question. What is the difference between being anti-Semitic and being racist? Is there a difference?
Yes,
Really?
there is in the context of even the definition. If it's being prejudiced, then you're not creating systems. You haven't created. There's a person like a person could be a racist, and then a person could be a prejudice and they'll be racist. You feel me? So like,
Mm.
there's people that believe to be prejudiced against Jews, but won't go as far as how the Nazis did it. Like they won't go that far, but they have their sentiments about Jews, just like certain people have their sentiments about black people and other races or ethnicities, whatever the case may be. I think that's why they're different. You
Okay.
can't be a racist. Like you could be a racist, but because you're prejudiced doesn't mean that you're a racist. So
Okay.
you could definitely be anti-Semitic and not racist because you could not hold any power besides the power of death, which is pretty weird. When you want to kill someone, you
Mm-hmm.
go as far as that. That's not really racist. I would say. I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know what that would be.
So should we start coming up with different types of hate names for when somebody is prejudiced against Latino people, blacks, whites? Should we start coming up with different names of that sort since the Jewish community have that?
Like because there's an actual word called anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe if you want to get into the definitions of words, there's probably a word to say it for Spanish people and African Americans and people of color and even white people. Um, I'm not sure per se, but if that does exist, I wouldn't be too. It wouldn't be. It wouldn't make. It wouldn't be too far fetched to the actual definition of just being a prejudice of person who's Spanish. Like if you're prejudiced
Right.
to a person who's Spanish, you're just prejudice. So if you're only prejudiced to Spanish people, maybe there's a word for that.
Right.
I don't know if we should classify it like that, but it would make sense because you just might not like Spanish people.
Right.
That's fine. But yeah, so maybe not. It could already exist.
Right.
That's what I'm gonna go with. It could already exist. That's my answer.
Okay. So based off of a lot of the research that I was doing today, Viacom let him go because they felt that he was being very racist and also anti-Semitic.
That's a word that they use, racist.
Yeah, they use race. Well, they use it in they use a different word, but it pretty much it turned into like racist. That's what I got from it when I read it. That they let him go because he was racist. Mind you, Nick Cannon. Not only did Nick Cannon was he fired, but Nick Cannon he doubled back and he apologized for it. He apologized for that.
I was pretty surprised that he did apologize.
Yes, wow.
He's getting a lot of love for not apologizing.
He got a lot of love for not apologizing, but he went back and he backtraced his steps and apologized for that. Now, what is that? What does that say about Nick Cannon, Eli?
Now I do that he's a professional, and that it made for his profile and for his resume, it would look better for him to do that. Whether or not he continues to work with them or not, he could, he opens more doors than besides disclosing by apologizing
right
publicly, and even to fans who may have found some type of offense
right
to what he said, because there's a lot of Jewish fans out there that might have took it a certain way, even though he was spitting some facts
right
on a broadcast station, which is I guess fine with me. And at the same time, I mean, that's why it's true, because that means there's people watching and they're watching him.
Right. Right.
So I kind of appreciate just the notoriety of the situation.
Yeah, but does Nick Cannon apologizing for the factual things that he said, does that say that Nick Cannon, what does that say to the community that was backing him up for not being afraid to say what he said? What does that say by you saying I apologize, and if I'm wrong, I please forgive me for lacking knowledge? These are some of the things that he had mentioned in his apology. Next time he was like, I apologize, I may have misquoted a couple certain things. How do you? No, Nick Cannon, you don't misquote the stuff that you said. You don't misquote calling white people savages. You can't misquote that. You can't misquote that. On top of that, yeah.
There's a weird theory that somebody that I was talking to today was coming up with. It's like a ritual that certain types of people do to celebrities, and that's publicly humiliate them, what they did to Bill Cosby, or what's going on with Nick Cannon right now, right before they get a big deal. Yeah. A big amount of money. So that's what I'm saying. He probably is opening more doors by apologizing publicly, whether or not he finds those personally true to himself and to the way he moves. It just probably opens more doors. The people that feel away, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, again, what really matters is when you sit down and you talk to Nick Cannon. That's pretty much what really matters. If he's not going to sit there and become a robot for them.
Okay.
Then that apology, to those people should mean exactly how they feel. You
know what I think, Eli? I think Nick Cannon has been drinking a lot of that Louis Farrakhan juice. Now, I'm not because I do follow Louis Farrakhan. I do, you know. But you gotta we also gotta understand that when Louis Farrakhan speaks, Louis Farrakhan does not have anybody he has to answer to.
Right.
He does, like, Louis Farrakhan now. Facebook and YouTube banned Louis Farrakhan. Like, if you try to, like, look up a Louis Farrakhan video, you might not. The videos that used to be on YouTube and Facebook, they are no longer on Facebook or YouTube. They're no longer there. You might catch short clips here and there of Farrakhan, but the clips that used to be on Facebook and YouTube took everything down that had anything to do with Farrakhan or associated with Farrakhan. And these companies, these big time companies, also label Louis Farrakhan as anti-Semitic. Now, when you look at the interview with Professor Griff that Nick Cannon did, you could tell that Nick Cannon has been following Louis Farrakhan very hard. He's been following him very hard, you know, and a lot of things that Nick Cannon mentioned, it's safe to assume that he received those messages from the Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. Okay, now as stated, the same statements were being made by Louis Farrakhan, and we see what happened with Louis Farrakhan, where they immediately take him off of Facebook and YouTube. They label him anti-Semitic, but we also, as stated, we also got to remember that Louis Farrakhan does not work for a Jewish corporation or a Jewish company. So at the end of the day, he's well in his right to express his First Amendment rights, because he like the Jewish community is not signing his checks. But Nick Cannon, on the other hand, I felt like Nick Cannon sort of should have knew better, or should have did that in a more non-hostile way.
You think so?
I think
it was as peaceful as it could have been.
You know what? I do think there is some validity to what some of the things that Nick Cannon was saying, but you know, when you haul off and start calling white people savages, and the reason why these people are the way they are is because they lack melanin and everything like that, you can't do that, because one, that's more so prejudice and racist. Now, you got to look at it like this. Think about what we going through right now. The African American community right now is we're fighting oppression, and we're fighting racism that's being used against us. Why would Nick Cannon haul off and do that right now?
I don't think. Look, that's a good question.
Knowing that we are fighting, knowing that we are currently at this point in time, we are fighting certain things that are systemic. What was Nick Cannon? Why would Nick Cannon not use his intelligence to understand that and reword certain things in a certain manner so that it doesn't come off as being racist or anti-Semitic?
Well, why are we really questioning, like, Nick Cannon? Like, it speaks more racism to me, the fact that he got fired for being prejudiced against Jewish people, supposedly.
Yes. Now, my question to you is, Eli, now what if there was a white person that said the same things? What if there was a white person that said, you know, all black people are savages? The reason why they're savages is because of their parents and how their parents raised them and everything like that. Do you think that white person would be getting scrutinized right now? Would he lose his job?
In the entertainment business, yeah.
Absolutely. So why does Nick Cannon get the right to do that as well? Why does he feel? Why does Nick Cannon feel like it's okay for him to do that and no consequences following that, knowing that people are getting fired for being racist against the African American and Latino community? Why does Nick Cannon feel like he has the right to say the things that he said on his podcast?
Because it was his podcast, and he should be able to say that. But when you're working for, that's what I'm saying. Like when you're working for a certain corporation, you still say it because it's your podcast. It depends on where you work at, like you said.
Now, I will say that Nick Cannon, I will piggyback off of you. Nick Cannon was on his own podcast. He didn't make the statement when he was at Wild 'N Out or any other corporation. He was on his own podcast.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you know, if you kind of rewind back into time, a lot of people that have been racially biased and discriminatory against black folks, they haven't been on a job and their jobs have been letting them go.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So my thing is like, Nick Cannon...
He said white people were savages. He said...
Oh, he said it. Oh, he said it.
He said, yo, white people, y'all savages. Or white people are savages. Or did he explain the historic, like, context of what savage meant, especially because science would call them those certain types of words. Even scientists would call them, like, savages by definition or because of who they were in those Caucasus Mountains that he was talking about. They were barbarians or whatever, what's the word? Cavemen. You know, like, to call them any other thing would, I don't know, but to call them savages, I don't think he was just like, all white people are savages, because again, he himself works for companies like that. So, I don't know, like, it's pretty tricky. It speaks more to me that he got fired than him saying something on his podcast and getting fired somewhere else.
But maybe this is the reason why he was fired. This was the reason why he was fired. And, you know, when you go back and you look at, I tried to post a link of the interview he had with Professor Griff. If you go back and you watch the video, Nick Cannon didn't mention science. Like, I can understand what you're saying if Nick Cannon is saying, yo, based off of science or based off of, you know, in a historical sense. Nick Cannon did not have any of those words associated to what the things that he was saying. Excuse me, the things that he was saying. And no, he didn't. It's not. I don't think so. He didn't.
Well, he didn't say that he got it from an actual place, but it sounded like something that I could read.
I understand that. You're right 100%. It does sound like that, but he didn't verbalize that. He didn't verbalize. And you know what? And you know he didn't verbalize it because of the apology he made. The apology he made was, "I'm sorry if I was misinformed about certain things." So not only did you say something that you could improve, you admitted to it in your apology.
In public.
Yes, he issued a statement. He issued a statement that he was talking misinformed and that he should have had somebody correct him as he was speaking. Not only did you backtrack, you backtrack, but you openly admitted that you was misinformed on certain things that you were speaking of. You openly admitted that. Do you realize how much of how bad that make you look? Do you really understand the selfishness of your actions? And the reason why I say that Nick Cannon was selfish is because he put his staff, his cast on Wild 'N Out in a very awkward position.
Right.
He put his cast in a very awkward position, and if you've been following them, you know they were faced with a very big ultimatum. Now, if Nick goes, we have to go.
Yeah, they have to.
They gotta
And they
go.
will. Like, there's no way. Like, they have to either give up the name or he's gonna come up. They could call it "That's It," and people are gonna go to it because it's Nick Cannon, and that's the where the show is, not Viacom. Like we didn't hear about Viacom until yesterday, or when Nick Cannon got fired.
Absolutely. Now let me
Really care.
let me ask you a question, Eli. And this is a vodcast where we objectively speak, right? Meaning we use logic over emotion. Do you feel that Nick Cannon should have informed his cast on what he was going to be saying on his podcast?
Should he have? Given the circumstances, yes.
Given the circumstances that you force everybody on your cast in a hard position. Now, do we walk away because Nick Cannon is walking away, or do we stay because we got a family to feed?
I don't know.
Nick Cannon, you put your cast in a very tough scenario.
Right.
You put your cast in a very tough scenario because why should they be held accountable for something you did? Why should their families have to suffer because of pride and your ego?
I don't know. I don't think they're gonna suffer as much as we think they will suffer.
I agree. I hear you. They're not going to suffer as much as we think they're going to suffer because you know what? They're going to walk away. They're going to walk away with Nick. I assume the smart thing would be to walk away with Nick Cannon. But how is their family going to be compensated?
He got to move. Like, whatever that he got to do it fast, too. That's the only thing that he got to do. Make sure that they don't miss a beat. They don't miss a check. And he could do that in many different ways because he is wilding out. Whatever it is. Yo, for real, I feel like that. I don't know if everybody else feels like that. I just know that I'm not watching Wilding Out if Nick Cannon ain't the host. That's a dub.
And neither am I. I am not watching out if Nick Cannon is not the host. I'm not watching it.
But if Nick Cannon came up with another show called Pop Off, I'm watching that. The same way I was watching Wildin' Out.
Now the true question is, Eli, you being let off your job because of the statements that you made, does that put a stain on his name? Now you mentioned something about, I would have kind of like figured my way to stay, keep my job. But Viacom was that they was hardcore with it. Now we got to let you go because of these statements. Now, if Nick Cannon goes and try to propose another idea to another show, what happens is it say, nah, man, we don't really need that type of smoke with the statements that you made. Like we like our company, we like our sponsors. We don't know if we're gonna be able to take you on because if we take you on, that means we're supporting the things that you said on your podcast.
Well, then that's what I'm saying. You gotta understand that Nick Cannon is his own product. He is like the person who went and got the trade degree. He is his money. So like wherever he go, we gonna go. Wherever he go. Is Nick
Cannon's is Nick Cannon's money long enough to house 15 cast members? Let's talk about it.
It's not about his money. It's about where he goes next. Like you said, there's going to be people that are going to be reluctant to work with him because of this situation, but revolt is definitely a good move if you're gonna bring your own money. Like Nick Cannon can make it back from revolt because of who he is and the experience that he has already working with TV networks. Diddy would definitely benefit off his leadership, like in the revolt, whatever he could find for him. But he could definitely make that move and bring that while enough money there, and then still continue to do his other stuff that he does.
I tell you what, man, I will be following this closely, and I hope Nick Cannon's money is long enough to take care of the 15 cast members that's walking out with him, because they supported you based off of what happened with you. It's only right that Nick Cannon in return support them, because they got families to feed as well.
Right.
They got families to feed, and you know what, Nick Cannon, you got to wear that, because you didn't think about the people that you took care of. Now it's more so like you got to wear that now. You got to wear that now. Simple as that.
Right.
So just real quick, Eli.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't think his money's that long.
I hope so. I really hope so. I really hope so. And you know, he do the right thing and get, at least if he can't hold them up long enough, just get them on their feet so they can like start making money work for them. You know.
Yeah.
So even if his money is long enough to get them by and get them on their feet, so they can kickstart whatever they need to make sure they feed their families as his return of appreciation, I respect it. But Nick Cannon, you're on the clock, Nick Cannon. You're on the clock. To kind of like, we don't have to spend too much time on this topic, but Eli, Ghislaine Maxwell, one of the co-conspirators in the Jeffrey Epstein's case, she received her trial date, and her trial date is for July 2021. What's your thoughts on that?
I think she will make it.
You said what?
I don't think she'll make it.
You think she's magically gonna
Yeah, if she didn't already.
If she didn't already, she's magically going to disappear.
Yeah, if you think about it, she kind of already is disappearing.
Yeah, nobody's really been like, I haven't even seen her like pull up in court or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's pretty quiet. It's pretty quiet to have over 50 cases of child sex abuse. It's pretty quiet over there in them parts.
Yeah, like they ain't talking about her snitching, like if she snitched already, how the interview go. They ain't talking about none of that.
They ain't talk about none of that stuff. So it's a little too quiet now. We understand the whole Nick Cannon situation. We understand the situation that happened with Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, and we understand all that stuff. But listen, don't think we forgot. We need to find out what's going on. Now, I did see some reports about Ghislaine Maxwell saying that she is willing to cooperate with the FBI. Don't think we sleeping. We paying attention. We are paying attention.
Right.
And July 2021 is a long time.
It's pretty quick, given some of the time that some people. It's pretty speedy.
You think July 2021 to be here before COVID get her?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think, given the magnitude of the trial, I would say this is pretty fast.
Well, you know what? Let's keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully this monster, this thug, is brought to justice, and justice will be served. Hopefully.
Yeah, man.
You gotta get rid of the thugs.
I know you don't want to spend too much on this topic, but I do want to bring something that I've been hearing a lot of.
Let's do it. What's up?
like, even though Ghislaine Maxwell is in custody, what do you know about, like, this Obama, Hillary Clinton, Jay-Z, Beyonce being on Epstein's Island and are supposedly, like, under investigation?
Hold on, Eli. Let's say allegedly. Let's say allegedly. We don't we don't want no lawsuits or nothing like that. Allegedly.
Allegedly is, but I'm saying, what do you know about that?
Now so
Ghislaine is definitely on trial, but what about everybody else that they talk about? What do we know as facts?
This is now I know that Ghislaine Maxwell has a lot of names that she is very fond of, that she doesn't mind passing over to the FBI. And from what we understand, Jeffrey Epstein had different locations where a lot of famous people were coming to his mansions, whether it be his island or whatever, and they was going to visit him, I guess for a tea party or whatever. But I'm assuming this is why Jeffrey Epstein decided to I don't know, end it pretty soon. And I'm assuming that Ghislaine Maxwell may not make it to July 2021, because Ghislaine Maxwell, just as much as Jeffrey Epstein, has a lot of names that she's intending on passing to the FBI. So and I heard it's a lot of very, very famous people that the country would be shocked of, the names that she's gonna come out and say, allegedly.
Right.
So we'll definitely keep our eyes on that. Keep our focus on Ghislaine Maxwell. But Ghislaine Maxwell, United States government, y'all not low. Like, we need to bring the monsters to justice, because there's a lot of damaged young women out there that need justice to be served. So
let's hope that they're doing their job, and just in this year we can gather up all of the justice that needs to be had, so that we can take care of the damage that has been caused.
Absolutely. And let's make sure that these guards have coffee. Let's make sure that these guards are well rested and not falling asleep on the job, which would allow a high profile prisoner to commit suicide. Let's hope that these guards are doing their jobs. Let's hope that. Yeah, so that's it for that. I'll definitely keep you updated, keep the viewers updated with Ghislaine Maxwell, because I do follow that very, very closely. Eli, so the last topic for the night that I wanted to talk about, and I felt that it was very important. Do you talk about money with your friends?
All the time. I have, I'll say all the time. What about you?
You know what? And I'll be honest with you. Growing up, at least from 18 all the way to my mid 20s, I just felt like nobody talked about money. We talked about everything. We talked about everything under the sun besides money. I don't know if that's like a ritual where, we just, nobody talks about money with each other. We would rather talk about parties. We would rather talk about fashion, music, interesting things that happen to us while being out. We'll talk about everything besides money. Now,
when you say money, what do you mean?
Absolutely, I'm glad you asked me that. And I'll start off with saying, I don't know about you, Eli, but when I was younger, I'm talking about in my young adulthood, 18s and mid 20s, as stated, I never talked about investments with my friends. I never talked about building generational wealth with my friends. I never talked about the importance of, opening a business, an LLC, S corp. I never talked about fixing up, checking on my friends' credit scores, and we never talked about certain things because we felt like that stuff was personal. We felt like that stuff is personal, you know. And I never understood why we never talked about that. We talked about everything. We talked about everything under the sun besides our financial growth.
Right.
Okay,
I get it.
Why is that? Why? And mind you, a lot of successful friends. What I notice, by being around successful friends that I have and associates, they make it a point to talk about money. They make it a point to talk about money. They make it a point to talk about time management and time waste management.
Right.
They make it a point. And this is something that, like I said, I learned kind of on the back end of my 20s. We're not talking about anything that's gonna put us in a more beneficial place as far as finances or stuff to leave the next generation. So what are we really growing as friends? Are we really growing? What's your thoughts on that?
Alright, so I feel like my personal experience as far as conversations with money have always been negative conversations, meaning like we're talking about bills that we owe and debt that we're in and how much we don't have, how much we should be getting, and how much we can't get, or we don't have enough to be able to get because we don't have enough resources, whatever. That has been more so the conversations I've been around most of my life when it comes to money, or when it comes to investing and stuff like that. I would say I've heard it in and out of my childhood. Like, there's the people that we don't really listen to have been telling us to invest in land and invest our money in these things. And even today, there's people out here that have little investment plans that people put money into, or because that's your boy, and your boy might spend the money on whatever, but
yes,
you might be serious about that one dream or that one investment. So we don't really. It depends on the person, like who you're talking to about money.
Right.
You start to learn that when you start talking about money, like who you can and cannot talk to about certain, investments, or because they're not on that type of level. They don't. I don't have the money to put into an investment, so why would I be talking about putting money into an investment? That you might not be able to talk really. There might be some disconnect. So I got to get a friend that already has money in some investments, and maybe we can have a conversation about that. And
right.
Our way into better conversations, and then the dynamic that's created is what you feel today, or some people feel today. I feel that these people don't speak enough when they are speaking, but within circles.
Right.
And they're not really out there with the information, but when they get amongst friends, or amongst people that they know and can't talk about these things and drop all this knowledge, and it gets soaked up, they are comfortable. And they're going to talk about it. But if you're not, there's some people that I know that are real quiet, but they got their little four friends. They got their little land, they got their business that they own, and they all talk business. They play cards, They get together, and it is what it is. And that is I think what's happening more so now, like it's happening more now, where people are having these investment conversations and putting money into um, cryptocurrency and all the different ways you can make money online and being your own boss. I think it's
Right.
becoming I think it's almost becoming a tired out conversation because we have to keep it a secret because everybody is basically their own business and in
Right.
competition with each other.
Right.
So if you find any silence on money today, which I don't think you could really find it, it's just because of that. Everybody's working on their own stuff.
Right. So my question is, all right. So we have a circle of friends that we grew up together, and let's say you have a circle of friends that you grew up with, right? And talking about money is not something normal. Do you attempt to inject that piece into a conversation where you're with your friends? And the second question is, if it's not received well, or if it's not like reciprocated, how long do you attempt to try to have this conversation, or is it time for you to kind of not say end the friendship, but is it time for you to grow apart from the friendship?
When it starts, usually certain people think it's ideal to lose friends that lose money. So if you're not if the conversation isn't helping you in the long run, after maybe about a few weeks, you should let them go. That's their ideal and what they live by
Okay.
when they're picking who their friends are and who they're talking to, especially when it comes to money. So I think maybe if we that's basically what's being practiced
Okay.
around around our friends.
So do you feel like the quote that's been inserted for the last couple of months, you can't force a man, you could bring a man to the water, but you can't force him to drink? Do you think that applies in this situation, that I can talk to you about money, I can talk to you about starting to invest in things and get your company together, start fixing your credit and all that other things, but if you don't receive it well after maybe one or two conversations, should we just like move on and grow, or network with people who understand the language that you're talking to?
I I I don't know. I personally deal with that very I don't know what's the difference sometimes between being humble and timid.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I could find myself, I guess, losing money. I personally have no problem with that. Uh, Picking and choosing who are my good friends because I'm afraid of a little bit of karma of like just being judgmental, or making somebody feel less than when they're really a superstar. I hate that. I would hate that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
To
Right.
make someone an underdog while they're around me. So
Right.
I personally uh, don't. I personally have a problem with that. So, but I find myself in circles where there are people that choose not to be involved with certain people because of those reasons,
Right.
and I can agree with those. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, what makes you money and what you believe makes you money is what makes you money. I
Right.
think when you like you like you say, when you discipline yourself, that's when you become rich. And I believe in that. Whoever
Right.
comes around you is just either you are a germ for them or they're a germ for you.
Right.
So you can either influence them. You could keep bringing the horse. You don't have to. Sometimes you don't have to keep bringing the horse and smacking them. You can just keep them around, and they start learning whatever they need to learn. They don't need to learn what we think they need to learn.
Right.
Like about money. Maybe they need to see you hold $100,000 and hand it off to the cashier. Just that situation could make them interested in economics or uh, what money is and what money can do for them. Maybe somebody watching you write a check.
Right.
You know, like as a kid, you see the checkbook and you're interested, and then you see your mother bring out the pen, and she got the little scribble.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a number on it. You're interested. Those are the ways that some people can experience money.
Right.
You don't have to just talk about it. Sometimes having certain conversations around other people, like maybe I don't know how to answer certain questions in an interview, but I was
Eli, you still there? Eli? Eli cut off. Eli. Yeah, Eli. Eli, come on, Eli. Well, yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much. To speak on it on my end, I tell you like this. You know, I've had that point in my life where I feel like, you know what, we had our good time. We had our good times together growing up. You know, but at the end of the day, as you get older as a man, you have to start thinking about the best interest of you. You have to start thinking about the best interest of the people that you surround yourselves with. Hold on, Eli, you back? You back?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I heard you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe the phone cut out. Well, I'm just finishing up with my point of view. Before we end the show, I was just saying that, you know what, at the end of the day, you know, growing up as young men, whether it be from the neighborhoods and going into college, meeting your college friends and everything like that, you know, the times were where the times were what they were. You know, we had good times. We spent time together. We built a lot of memories. But there comes a point in all of our lives, not only me, but the friends that I surround myself with, where a button has to kick on in your head, or a switch has to flick in your head and say, listen, all right, now it's time to put the childish things behind me and start worrying about, you know, the future. Not only the future, but providing for a family, potentially children, wives. You know, we have to start thinking like this early. You know, if I knew what I knew now back then, I probably would have been in this mindset a long time ago. But it's okay, because it's better late than never. It's better late than never. You know, but at the end of the day, there comes a point in your life where you have to say, I have to put the childish things behind me. I have to put the childish things behind me and start thinking as a man. Now, whether that be you start dressing different, you start speaking different, you start reading different, you start doing different things that you didn't do when you were younger.
Right.
You start interacting, you start learning how to network, you start learning how certain tools you start learning along the way that's going to help you be a productive, not only spouse, a productive father, a productive member in the community. There comes a time in your life where you have to start thinking that. Listen, we live in a time right now where we got to catch up. We have to catch up.
Yeah.
We like this pandemic have taught us that we can't be spending our time talking about BS. That game is out the door now.
Yeah.
Once you hit a certain age, you have to really start investing in your future. Now we could blame age. We could blame age for as a reason why we haven't, did certain things long ago. It's okay to blame that. But now, there's no excuse. It's time to settle down. It's time to settle down. Strap your boots in the ground and start looking, start living, and start moving for the future.
I get it. Now you bring up a good point about you can't blame age pretty much no more. But I kind of, because of how much we as a people don't have, because of the systems and the education that has been not given to us, I think it's
right.
We got to be a little bit more humble when it comes to older people who are not as well equipped.
Right.
Whether it's knowledge, experience.
Right.
Or we kind of got to humble up to our own because we were given a disadvantage. So any advantage that we have, we should be using it for good and not to, what's the word? Defuse our own people.
Right.
Make them inferior.
And you know what, Eli? To kind of
meaning black people either. I mean, like men amongst men.
Men amongst men. And you know what, Eli? And I'm gonna say this, Eli. And I don't want to touch a couple nerves. Listen, some of us don't have the time. Mm-hmm. Some of us don't have the time. We didn't have the time when we thought we had the time, because a lot of us wasn't afforded certain opportunities that a lot of the people in our age range had or have at this point in time.
Right.
I know there's a lot of people that I associate myself with that was given certain resources. That was given certain resources that I didn't have, that my friends didn't have. So, as stated, I respect the time that we spent together when we were younger, but we was lost because we didn't have certain things that we needed to get ahead. Yeah. You can't, and I say this, you can't complain about the past. The past is the past. It's not about what happened in the past. It's about what you know now and taking responsibility, being accountable for your actions. At the end of the day, there's this one quote that I see constantly. You are not responsible for being poor. You are not responsible for being born poor, but you're responsible if you stay poor. And I'm not saying poor as far as like just financially. We're talking about knowledge. We're talking about growth. You are accountable for your actions just like I am. Every man and every woman is the captain of their fate, the master of their soul. There's no excuses. Once you get into a position where you know the difference between right and wrong, now it's on you. You can't blame your friends. You can't blame your family. No, you know better now. So every day that you wake up, and you know that you have a goal that you need to work towards, you need to work towards that goal because now you know better. And anything that happens to you in the present or in the future, you are responsible.
See, you said it. You know better. Now, what if you don't? We have to be humble as teachers, as men, to be able to take on those who don't know, who hear what you just said and can't put it into action because they don't know. They've never seen it before, and they're of age. They're probably my age. They're probably 23. They're probably 19, and still don't know how to put it into action. And that's where we as men need to open up and give that knowledge and give that experience by not saying that you're wasting my time by being around me and not giving me money. You got to show them that.
Absolutely. But I will, hold on, Eli. I will say I am not going to sit here. I'm not going to force no grown man. I'm not going to force no grown man to do better. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give you what I got. I'm not gonna give you everything I got, but I'm gonna throw a couple seeds at you. I'm gonna throw a couple seeds at you, and at the end of the day, it's on you to do something with them seeds. I'm gonna tell you, listen, this is what the seeds done for me, or this is what I'm doing with my seeds. You got the seeds, you take it, do as you will. You go as you please, you do as you please, whatever. But I'm not gonna sit here and watch you not do anything with the seeds. Nope, I did my part by letting you know about it. Simple as that.
I mean, and then there's people that deserve a little bit more seeds. Everybody doesn't deserve.
Hey, listen, I tell you what, Eli, I didn't bring you in this world.
I get it.
I didn't listen, I didn't birth you. I didn't bring you in this world, so you need to figure it out. Just like I'm figuring it out. So we both figuring it out. You're not going to sit here and take the time away from me and what I got going on or where I'm trying to go in life because you don't have the common sense or the intellect to go figure it out. Obviously, what I can do, what I can give to you, I probably can't help you because you need listen, there's some fixing that you need to take care of.
Right. I'm saying sometimes that could be the case, and this is why I have an issue with this subject, is because you could be wrong. Like you as a teacher, as a man, like you just said, cannot. Maybe you are incompetent in being able to teach them what they need to know, and because of that, you react in that way. Like you don't have to be my dad to teach me about money, like, or to spend a little bit of extra time and be a mentor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But listen, I am not going to be... listen, if there's something that you want to know...
Yeah.
If there's something that you want to know... prove it to me. Show me that you want to learn. Come to me and tell me... come to me and show me that you're accepting what I'm giving you.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm still learning myself. So the little bit I'm giving you, show me a little bit of appreciation of the little bit that I have that I'm giving to you.
Yeah.
The little bit, at the end of the day, I'm still learning. I'm still, like, as a man, I'm still learning as I go. But the little bit of stuff that I did conquer and I'm telling you about, if you want to show me appreciation, show me that you received everything I told you. Show me that you did a little bit more research. Show me that, like, you gonna be here every day trying to learn, trying to get it in your head. I'm not gonna be chasing you every day. Just like my mentors was like that with me. Vic, I don't have time. If there's something that you want to learn, figure it out. I'm giving you the toolbox. If you need help with certain tools, come to me. But I'm not gonna sit here and give you a toolbox and then tell you about every tools without you showing initiative on your end.
Okay. That makes sense.
I'm not turning away my help, but I'm not offering it. I'm not going to offer it.
Yeah.
If you ask, I help. If I can help you, I can help you. If I can't help you, I'll point you in the right direction. But show me that you want the help. If you don't want the help, don't waste my time because I got things I got to do. I got people I got to care about. I got people I got to take care of. And it's hard. Ain't nobody giving me nothing, so I'm not giving you nothing. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. If you want to build with me, let's build. Let's figure out a way. But I got stuff I got to do. Hopefully you got stuff that you need to do. If we can do it together, let's do it together. If not, listen. Yo, the door's over there. And it's going to be a possibility that I might strike you off of the list as somebody that I'm not going to pick up the phone for.
Right.
Simple as that. So, I say that I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I am the host, Groovy, the Cleanup Cast. I want to shout out to Eli Didon for coming on the show. You know, giving us his perspective. You know, we are going to be doing more shows pretty soon. We're gonna try to, come up with a nice little schedule so we can, let the people know when, time and everything like that. But we'll figure it out. Don't forget to like the channel on YouTube, the Cleanup Cast. show your comments. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and until next time, everybody, the Cleanup Cast.
Woohoo!